there are probably a few things mentioned to new players when they're getting into Guild Wars 2, such as various endgame modes that they have to look forward to after they've reached level 80 like raids, fractals, or strikes. Included with these is usually World vs. World, but what exactly is this? To put it simply, World vs. World is a multiplayer war game that revolves around strategy, communication, and teamwork. It's a form of open field PvP in Guild Wars 2 that spans over 4 maps and involves 3 different worlds battling each other for the control of objectives and fortifications. ArenaNet has claimed that World vs. World is a keystone of Guild Wars 2, large-scale siege warfare done right. I will admit there are some similar things out there. Cyrodiil from ESO comes in mind with his similar large-scale PvP, siege, and teams. Even then, World vs. World is something that scratches an itch that most of the other games just can't get. While it is a form of open field, World vs. World is completely separate from PvE. You access it through the World vs. World menu by pressing B, or clicking the tiny castle icon at the top of your screen. Alternatively, you can also enter the Borderlands through the Azura Gates and Lion's Arch located close to the Fort Mariner waypoint. With that being said, I would highly recommend that you have a level 80 character geared for World vs. World before entering. It's not technically required, but I want to make sure you're having the best time possible. Entering before you're prepared can put you at a major disadvantage. While you are scaled to level 80 within World vs. World, you don't gain access to the class traits, foods, and other things that you traditionally unlock at level 80. This includes level 80 gear. It doesn't take anything fancy or expensive once you get there. Like most content in Guild Wars 2, it's perfectly fine to run exotics and the stats you need. Picking something with vitality or toughness is common because it increases survivability. It is a PvP game mode after all. Overall, there's a lot I could say about World vs. World, but the best thing is that it's really a create-your-own-content game mode. Unlike Fractals, Dungeons, or Raids, where you have to follow a specific mechanic, or a group size of generally 5 to 10 players, World vs. World is made for people who love PvP or just having fun with friends and wanting to play their own way. For instance, one of the most popular ways to play is teaming up with others in large 50-man squads to flip keeps and fight enemy groups. However, you aren't limited to this playstyle. There are things to do for all group sizes, like solo roaming, havocing, and there's even this thing called Zerg busting, where people take down groups twice their size. They're all valid and super fun ways to play. In fact, I would even say that having this broad span of playstyles is really what makes World vs. World competitive and healthy. All of this surrounds a scoreboard, where 3 worlds battle it out during week-long matches to score points based on 2 things known as PPT and PPK. PPT meaning point per tick, which is based around conquering and defending the various towers and keeps. PPK being point per kill, the more fight-oriented point value. These matches are split into skirmishes, which are 2 hours long and at the end reward set number of victory points to the world's end score based on how well they did with PPT and PPK. This is around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Due to this, worlds can have interesting balances, where people who play when most aren't can have a weird influence over scores and maps. It also makes it friendly. You don't need to be worried about being on at any specific time. All you need to do is grab a friend or a good solo build and head into the Borderlands. You're bound to find content no matter where you go, whether it's casually flipping camps or leisurely ganking gameplay. Basically, World vs. World is something I'd highly recommend everyone try, though for new players I would really suggest you go in with an open mind and a few people to show you the way. If you're playing Guild Wars 2 solo, there are a lot of ways to hook up with others in the game mode. Saying something in team chat, joining into commanders' squads, and getting into guild discords are all great ways to do this. If you let others know you're new and looking for a guild or friends to show you the way, they'll definitely be friendly. Feel free to reach out to me as well if you're confused or curious about anything. I'll leave my Guild Wars 2 ID in the description below. I really hope this video helped you get a basic idea of what World vs. World is and what you can expect in the game mode. If you're a veteran of World vs. World, I would really appreciate it if you could drop some tips for new players in the comments below, or put some of your best experiences in the game mode. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. Like, subscribe, and have an awesome rest of your day.